Good morning, Elite Patriots. Today's April 7th, 2022, 5 a.m. Central Time. Senate passes bill to weaponize Ukraine. Wanted to do a video versus type this up because it's been a while. Just so you guys know, if you haven't seen my earlier posts, this is prom season, so my business is booming. So that's why I'm not doing much stuff on Patreon. But I will get back to it. Like I said, when midterms come closer, I will definitely be doing videos on those. So anyway, this is S3522, Ukraine Democracy Defense Lend-Lease Act of 2022. I found this interesting because it was introduced January 19th, 2022. And Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th, 2022. So this was introduced a little over a month prior to this conflict occurring. I don't know how much you guys have been paying attention to this conflict, this war. I was a lot in the very beginning, but I've since sort of tapered off. I just don't want it in my face all day long. So beside the point, this past yesterday, April 6th, the Senate passed it by a voice vote. Basically, that means, you guys should know by now, nobody actually put their vote on paper. So they said, hey, we're going to pass this by a voice vote. Nobody objected, so it passed. So anyway, I'm going to go over what this actually does. It says it wants to be cited as Ukraine Democracy Defense Lend-Lease Act of 2022. What Congress is doing here is loan and lease of defense articles to the government of Ukraine and eastern flank countries. So it's not just Ukraine, okay? This was something that started, okay? This has history during World War II when we were giving weapons to the British to defend themselves. So this is not new. This is like reauthorizing, if you will, this situation for this specific instance. So that's history on that. But anyway, subject to paragraph 2 for fiscal year 2022 and 2023. So this would have to be reauthorized in 2024 or at the end of 2023 for this to continue. The president may authorize the United States government to lend and lease defense articles to the government of Ukraine or government of Eastern European countries impacted by the Russian Federation's invasion of Ukraine to help bolster those countries' defense capabilities and protect their civilian populations from potential invasion or ongoing aggression by the armed forces of the government of Russian Federation. So this is very specific, unlike the AUMFs in the past. Not that this is an AUMF, but I'm just saying, like, it's not very generic. It's actually specific. It says, for the purposes described in Authority 1, the authority relates to Ukraine. The following provisions of law shall not apply. Foreign Assistance Act of 1961 and Section 61 of Arms Export Control Act. What that's talking about, without actually looking up the exact law, is it said... It basically releases and shall not be part of, 1, a requirement that prohibits a loan period from exceeding 5 years, so then they can do a loan over 5 years. A requirement the United States may recall the loaned defense articles at any time, so they're getting rid of that. A requirement that the receiving party has agreed to pay the United States all costs incurred in leased defense articles, so basically we're giving our shit away. A provision that allows Congress to prohibit certain transfers of defense articles upon enactment of a joint resolution. So they're taking away their own power as well. So then let's go back to the text. And it says, condition, any loan or lease of defense articles to the government of Ukraine under paragraph 1 shall be subject to all applicable laws concerning the return and reimbursement and repayment for defense articles, loans, leases to foreign governments, even though they just said that they're releasing them from that, which doesn't make any sense. Delegation of authority. The president may delegate an enhanced authority under this subsection only to an official appointed by the president by and with consent advice of the Senate. So the Senate would have to confirm, someone that the president delegates to an official appointed position in order to do this. Procedures for delivery of defense articles not later than 60 days after the date of this enactment of this act. The president shall establish expedited procedures for the delivery of defense articles loaned or leased to the government of Ukraine under agreement entered into under subsection A to ensure timely delivery of the article to the government. And then it says the defense, and this is important, definition of defense article. It's part of the section 47 of the Arms Export Control Act, and I'm going to actually pull that law up. Because this wonderful president is preventing, which I don't even know why we are a part of this, Poland from giving Ukraine MiGs, right? That's been like all over the news for quite a while now, which are basically the counterpart to the F-15 that we have, right? So why Poland is getting authority from the United States to give away their own shit is beyond me, but the United States is not authorizing it, even though they said they were in the beginning, because they feel as though those those fighter jets are provocative. They're not defensive, they're offensive, which is ridiculous. That makes absolutely no sense. So it's like, well, then how do you justify any of the surface-to-air missile defense systems, whether they be shoulder or, grounded? Makes no sense at all. So that's why those haven't moved. So with that being said, with this being passed, Congress is allowing this government to this administration, the Biden administration, to send the following things. Defense article, except in provision 7, don't worry about that. This section means with respect to sale transfer by the United States, under the authority of this chapter, any foreign assistance or sales program of the United States to A, any weapon system, munition, aircraft, vessel, boat, or other implementation of war. B, any property, installation, commodity, material, equipment, supply, or goods used for the purpose of making military sales. D, any machinery, facility, tool, material, supply, or any other necessary item for manufacture, production, processing, repair, servicing, storage, construction, transportation, operation, or any of the articles used in paragraph. And D, any component or part of any article listed in this paragraph. So basically, Congress has released this administration to send anything they want to Ukraine without having to go through Congress at all. That was something else the Biden administration tried to claim, was that Congress should have been part of this. We don't have the authority of this. Then they walked that back and came up with the MiGs are offensive weapons. So this actually is interesting because for two things. One, they're releasing congressional authority, but two, since they actually enacted this, technically, this administration cannot call those MiGs offensive articles because they used and referenced the definition of defense article, which obviously has a very specific definition, which would include MiGs. So if this administration does continue to claim that those MiGs are offensive, they're actually going against what Congress has passed. So I found that very interesting. Anyway, this is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great morning.